it's me again. We are back with another video, and today I have two special guests. Okay, we have our senior director and a youth. You know, he's going to be my co-host, but today we going to get into the down and the deep. He's just the youth today. So let's take it over to them. I want you to introduce yourself. So, Jarrell, senior director, how you doing today?
I'm doing good.
Good. Jamal, how you doing?
Doing well. How are you?
I'm doing, hanging in there and
Doing
stuff.
nice,
Hey,
nice.
So I just want to know, like, what got y'all into this line of work? Like, what made you want to be senior director or you want to come in?
Well, I'll start. First of all, I grew up in Buffalo. Sad Buffalo. I'm Buffalo born and bred, and so I want to make sure that I give back to my community and through my own personal lived experience. I know what it's like to be hungry. I know what it's like to be without home and family support, things
good.
like that. So I want to support youth like that, and that's just I feel like my life's passion.
Good. Jamal, what about you?
And myself, so I just recently turned 22. I graduated from Alpha University with a communication degree in May. They brought me on to work in university advancement. I'm the assistant director of major gifts there. So right now I'm working in philanthropy solely. Not just that, but I have my own podcast that I just recently started up about a year and a half ago. It's called Blind Spot. I like to give people opportunity to share their story in a light most favorable to themselves. Why? Because we don't really have a voice in most areas, in most lanes. So
Yeah.
growing up, I always was able to articulate myself very well. Sometimes being teased for that, for being proper, or just seeing that as an advantage rather than a deterrent. So now I just want to really dive into community work and give back as much as I can because I can.
Good. Is there like a particular youth that y'all have, um, just like you just want to help a particular type of youth? Like, is it the homeless? Is it the hungry? Is it what is the particular type of youth?
Um, Honestly, I think it really doesn't matter to me as long as what I'm doing is working with youth. So I've had a few different career tracks in my time. I'm definitely not 22. I'm a little bit older than that. So I'm 32. However, I've been able to move and advance in my career fast because I focused in on one important thing, which is giving back to my community and focusing on youth. So as it pertains to mental health, food security, job security, giving them some kind of support if they don't have that family support. And so whatever career choice I've ever selected, I made sure that the youth were in the front of that. So when I worked
That's
in higher ed, I would make sure my students had everything they need, where that meant wraparound support or just academic assistance. When I worked in mental health, I made sure that my youth and my community had access to the resources that they needed, as well as them to know that not every resource will cost them. And there's some things that can support them. And so in my work currently with Buffalo Futures, I just want the youth that we serve to have access to everything, whether they have a degree or not, a high school diploma or not. It should be low barrier to entry to where they can get involved, they can have leadership opportunities. So that's kind of my backstory why I get into this.
Hello, everybody. My name is Jamal Lewis, and I sit on the Youth Advisory Council for Buffalo Futures. I am excited to announce our first ever Black Love Poetry Slam Thursday, February 29th from 6 to 9 at Buffalo Ironworks. We have an amazing lineup of performers. We have Taven, Kicking It with Keeks, 10,000 Poet, and Team Finks. Support and donations for this event will help with wraparound services for our youth. This is definitely an event that you don't want to miss out on. The link for the tickets are in the description below. I cannot wait to see you there.
Jamal?
What's the question? Why? How did I get into?
No, it's more of like,
Oh,
is
the
there
what
particular,
youth?
youth?
Not necessarily. I feel like, well, your age and my age, we're in the gap to where we're very relatable to a large group of youth, rather than being just a little bit older. You're disconnected. Like when you're respectfully, when you 25, 26, you're not as relatable as a 21, 22-year-old, even 18. You're not as relatable. They don't walk the same exact paths as we just were within the last 6 years. I was just a high school student. I was just a college student. I was just playing football games up the street at Johnny B. Wiley. Like I was like just doing these things. So I feel like it's important for me to speak to and outreach to all youth that I can relate to. And I'm very relatable in the sense of I've been to public schools, I've been to private schools, I've been to charter schools. I've lived in Arizona, I lived in Alabama, but I'm primarily from Buffalo. I graduated college. Most people know somebody that graduated college, but the flip side of it is I grew up right where these people that we'll be outreaching to grew up, played in the same parks, went through the same things, and it's sad to say, but I could even connect to youth through incarceration. My pops going away, or my mom going away, or seeing different drug abuse in my family, or things that are close to us. Like we don't necessarily always reach there, but it needs to be spoke about, and especially to the like. If I feel like if you take a kid, a child, however, a youth, 12 to 15, right? So where they're absolutely impressionable to what their next level of life is going to be. So whether they're going to go to high school and complete it, or go to college, or in that, like when you're in that age gap, if we could go and do outreach speaking to these kids and just let them know that a Jamal Lewis exists in the aspect of just being relatable. Like I get
real.
what you went through. I get what you're going through right now, because it's still happening. We from the town. Like we understand what's needed. It's just a lack of resources. So you have an entity like Buffalo Futures, right? So I met Jarrell over the summer when I was at a give back for the PAL League, like PAL basketball league, book bag giveaway, and we just bumped into each other and we connected, and it was amazing because I struggle with finding people that can properly guide me, because yes, we're relatable and we walk the same paths of life, but I don't want the same things that people
real.
want.
Yeah.
So it's like it's hard taking advice from people that aren't going through what I'm going through in a mental state wise. Like they went through it, they walked these paths. So just being able to reach and get some tutelage from guys like himself is a major thing, because he's leading the way in the realm of like leadership and giving back and community.
That's good.
Thank you, man. I think honestly, what you all should know is that it's great, and it may even seem that I'm leading the way, but you all are folks that tell me which way to go. You know, so it's one thing for me to just make a decision, but it's another thing for me to make that decision with you all in mind.
Absolutely.
So, you know, what is it? The saying, nothing for us without us.
Yeah.
And that means, how can I put together a youth anything when I'm, 10 years of seniors? I can't relate to some of the same things.
Right.
I may not know the same lingo, but you all keep me informed.
You have an eye of finding them, though.
Yeah,
definitely.
Definitely.
When you bumped into me, you had to find her somewhere.
Well, you want to know something? You all have a light that you shine through, whether you know it or not. And that's why I encourage you to be wherever I am. If I'm going to speak somewhere, I'm going to pull you with me. If there's an opportunity for me to put you in front of folks, give you some kind of budget so that way you have that leadership opportunity, I will. And that's the reason I am where I am, is that somebody saw something in me at 20 or 22, and I also got a job at the college I went to at 22. And it's a launching pad. And so I think representation is very important as well. So you all being youth of color and me being a younger man of color, stepping into such a large role, it's important that I give back to you, let you know the opportunities, as well as pull you in with me.
That's dope.
That's good. I really love the relatability with the staff and like to the youth. Like I feel like everyone should be relatable, because you're going to disconnected youth. Like we're a platform with disconnected youth, and even if you don't have the background, you still should know something. Yes. Especially by being with youth, it's like, okay, if they're talking to you and they're like, well, you don't know nothing. You don't know what it feels like to be homeless. You don't know what it feels like to be alone without food. You don't know that. So how can you tell me there's life ahead of you, there's this ahead of you, but if they see you, Jarrell, they see you, Jamal, it's like, no, I see it. I know that there's something better for me, right? They see that, and I love that you, like, let us be near you. You know what I mean? Because there's some people that's like, well, I done made it, and I don't want none of y'all near me. Y'all still there, y'all whatever, but you allow us to learn from you. You allow us to grow from you, and that's really needed. And
Thank you.
yeah.
I think well, I don't think I can ever be the kind of person where I'm like, oh, I don't getting around me. My title too big. I think what's important is for me to remember my own lived experience,
Right.
having gone through homelessness, being in the household where my parent was addicted to alcohol, things like that. I think it's very important for me to stay close with you all.
Absolutely.
I think it's very important to let you know that some of the things you worry about, I worry about as well. So some of the things that you're concerned with, so am I. However, I've just had a little bit more time to understand how to navigate that. So why wouldn't I be here to help you navigate that? And you all help me out in so many different ways. So just know that you have something to give as well. You all are leaders in your own right, too.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I want to know, do you always like want to do this, or did y'all always want to do this? Like when you was thinking about where you were going to college or what you were going to college for, like was it for youth, or what was your first thing?
Oh, no, I went to college because by 17 I had moved out. I was living at a place called the Compass House, which is for youth that may be in some kind of issue as it pertains to housing. And so I stayed there for a while. And I went to college literally just to have a space to live. I thought the academics were great, but I needed to live on dorms. But that's what got me involved. And so wanting to do this wasn't my goal. Originally, I wanted to do music and production and photography and all that stuff. It's just so happened that education came first. Doesn't mean I still don't, I'm still not involved with those things. But I kind of fell into this work and I loved it. Because I may not be able to be a doctor myself, but I've worked with hundreds of youth that are now doctors and lawyers. And so I just feel like it's very important to me, no matter what I do, to give back in that way and just see how I can be a resource to other folks, other individuals. But in some way or another, I'm always going to be involved with music. That's just who I am.
Myself, I originally went to college because I wanted to play football. Didn't work out. I played one semester of football, and then I decided to put my attention towards something that made more sense to me. So I started writing for the school paper, and I would write articles promoting a little bit of everything. So whoever was the best athlete that week, I made sure I wrote a story up on them. If there was a new emerging black business, I made sure I wrote a story up on them. And for so long, it was like, all right, I'm doing this because it satisfies me. That's why I play football as well, because it satisfies me. But it's like, okay, where can I have an actual influence? And then like 2 years ago now, so that would have been my junior year, or maybe a little bit before, point being, I started doing radio Mondays and Wednesdays with old football coach of mine. His name is Mookie Hawkins. He works. He's a Buffalo Bills beat writer. I believe that's still his title. Point being, I started doing interviews with him and doing the radio as well, and that really progressed into me like, all right, if I'm gonna do interviews, I want to have my own platform. So I started up the Blind Spot. And I'm stuck, kind of, not stagnant, but stuck in a wedge to where I want to figure out how I attach, like, Blind Spot's mission with some of the things that Buffalo Futures has going on, as well as just community impact. Like, how can I have impact and influence when I'm doing these interviews? Like, yes, giving people a voice. Yes, giving people a voice, but, like, I feel like it has to be something a little deeper. Like, it has to have more, it has to have an impact. So, like, I know I just went on a tangent, but college was really, like, just a vessel of getting out of the town. Like, I could have really pretty much went anywhere. honor roll student. Like, I wanted to I went to Alfred to play football, yes, but they had a great communication program. It's a liberal arts and sciences school. I went there. I just graduated in May, and then now I'm in their MBA program, taking my master's in business. And I just pretty much want to help other people shine. Like, it's never been about me. And it's crazy because when I stopped thinking about growing is when stuff started to grow. Like, when I started to be more patient over these last 3 months, I've had like a very sensitive time to where it's like, all right, I'm growing, but it goes back to everything I just said. Like, how do I impact? So now I'm gonna go on like a little hiatus. I'm not gonna do any more interviews for the rest of the year and just like rebrand and come much harder because I'm doing a lot, but how do I do more?
Like, how do you touch those voices is what you're saying. Like, yes, they're speaking and you give them a platform, but how do you then impact them further than just giving them a voice?
How can they impact others through their interviews? Like, I'm interviewing somewhat influential people, so I've interviewed Buffalo Bills players, Deion Dawkins, Dalton Kincaid, Kyer Elam. I've interviewed school principals, Principal Baxter over at Health Science, estheticians, D1 athletes, actors, comedians, the youngest ever executive producer, feature film, Khalil Carr. I have actually had the pleasure to work with him a few different times through Buffalo Fashion Week. I just recently did red carpet interviews at Buffalo Fashion Week through my platform. And it's just like, yes, I'm doing this thing and it's satisfying, but not to be selfish, how do I monetize off of it? But how do I impact the community off of it? How do I spread and speak life through not only having a platform, but giving other people a platform? So that's like what I'm doing.
Can I answer this question?
Yeah.
Just from my little bit of experience, I would tell you, follow your goal first, and then money will come.
Right.
If you do what you do and you do it well, that stuff will follow. People will pay attention. There's people that will give to you. So even an opportunity like this being on the podcast, I think this is the time for you to kind of discuss why it's important to you, which you just did, and I'm sure you will again. But it's something to where never underestimate what you've already accomplished.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So to get those folks involved and to have a plan to, re-engage them as well as develop yourself professionally,
Right.
that's another place where Buffalo Futures comes in. You have coaches, you have people that can support you. Ironically enough, I have my own production company. So it's like, hey, I understand how you can do both and I also know what it takes to become a 22-year-old assistant director of anything. And so I feel like don't knock you all, don't give yourself that much flack. You should definitely have credit. You're making waves. You're connecting with people.
I'm grateful.
Mm-hmm.
I am. It's cool.
I want to say,
though. Like, it's life.
It is, but I think by connecting to these folks as well as Jamil Cruz, who helped put this together. So thank you so much, Jamil, for this.
Thank you.
But these are the folks that you connect to. Find some wise counsel, some folks that have been able to do it. And so when I need help, I usually will call Jamil, or I'll call a different community leader to make sure I know what it is I'm doing. So, if you all are doing it, trust me, the older folks are doing it just as well.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Finding like mentors and all that kind of stuff. But I also am glad that's why I'm doing the work that I do.
Yeah.
It's because I get to connect folks. And then, Leah, you being closer in age, you really have the opportunity to connect them because they're going to listen to you probably more than me,
And I think it'll be good for you, Jamal, being on the Youth Advisory Council, you're going to see all those different youth, and especially you're wanting to know how to impact those voices so they can give you more feedback, right?
Absolutely.
They're the youth, and they'll be able to talk to you more, so I think it'll be a lot of growth in that as well.
Yeah, I like connecting with people in a general sense. Like, it doesn't necessarily even have to be people that's our age. Like, that's more so where I want to come from in the aspect of community impact. Like, if we could get, I'm probably going to be repetitive when I say this. I'm probably going to say this a lot just throughout the course of being on my show, this show, other shows. Like, if we could get to the youth, I'll even take it back to 10 years old, 10 to 15, like when they're like going into that next phase of life. If we could just make them understand that there are people that are in their corner. I know that the Buffalo Futures is 16 to 24, so excuse me, I'm not trying to. Yeah, but like if we need to get into schools. It's important. It's important that they hear stories and that they understand how and what could be. If they see a depiction of success that look like a sweatsuit and some Timbs, but Monday through Friday I'm put together because I gotta be, because we are. But I'm still a reflection of neighborhood.
Absolutely, giving them something else to see, which is youth that are really going for theirs and that's really putting their all into it. And so I guess this is a shout out to you all for putting this podcast together. I think that's huge, you know? So, yeah, man, you're on your way. You're on your way. And I'm not saying that we can't not get you there. I'm saying we definitely can get you there.
Right.
So when it comes to these kind of things, which is through our youth engagement portion, the youth council, these are things that you all get the say in. My job is just to make sure I get you the budget, and then you decide what you want to see, you know? And so whatever that is, I'm just waiting to hear it and to support it.
Right.
I just think it's important, too, to emphasize that they don't have to do it through sports.
That's real.
It has to be spoken about more often, and I'm not trying to, like, be that guy that's, like,
Say it.
crapping on people's dreams and all of that, but, like,
You should have a backup.
We need more people to be able to articulate themselves.
Are you, so, okay, now we ain't going to debate on here, but are you saying, like, you said articulate themselves. I think I know what you mean. Being able to step in the room at the board table and be able
to speak for yourself, not even at just at the dinner table, etiquette. I'm saying not even etiquette in the sense of using utensils. I'm saying like have some couth about yourself. Like, yes, it's okay to joke, but it's a time and a place. Let's get to this business. You know,
you mean standing on business? Ain't that
even as a kid, though? Even as a kid, like I know some kid. My sisters, I guess I gotta plug them now. I brought them up. My sisters are 16. Youngest people to ever be contracted through Buffalo Public Schools to do events. Their name is Star and Sky Twins. Point being, like, I never seen kids like them. I know they exist, so that's what I'm trying to get them into giving back too. I'm trying to tell them like the importance of, okay, y'all making a little money for yourself. Now, teach. It don't matter if you can't teach it. It don't matter what you learned if you can't teach it. How did you do this? They can't even tell me. They don't even understand what they're doing yet. They don't know how they don't get it.
I get what you're saying. You mean not just pushing sports in front of them as like this is everyone's not going to be in the NBA.
Absolutely.
And I think what first of all I agree with you.
Have you ever heard a kid say they want to be a professor?
No.
You've heard a bunch of kids say they want to dribble a ball and shoot it.
Right, but I will say when I did work in higher ed, I will present them with these other things. If that's all you ever heard anybody say,
absolutely.
You know what else? You know, so when I can remember one youth coming in my office and she saw I had a bachelor's and a master's degree up. She told me I was the first black male that she ever met that had a master's. So I made sure she was introduced to a whole bunch of other folks that was in that world. But I believe until you step into that world,
the first black male that I met with a master's.
Really?
Real talk.
See, this is why representation is important.
Yeah, because you got to see yourself in that position.
On the wrong people do that, in a sense. I'm listening to you.
But what's good, though, is that you sit in a leadership role that you have heavy influence. You have heavy influence no matter what age you are. So you can pull youth in a very different direction because if they see you swagged out with the sweatsuit and the Timbs on or whatever, and you're doing it and they find out you're an assistant director, you have your degrees, I think that will just inspire a different level of tenacity in them, you know?
They have to know it exists. That's what you want.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But that's also why I'm a little hard on y'all. I'm not going to lie, because I want greatness from you, and I know that. So, you know, Leah, you do marvelous work as a peer mentor in the program. That's why I'm always pushing for more. Like, how else can we get you out there? You're going to be on the podcast today. Like, you know, so Leah she's able to roll with the punches. But because I know you're capable, I'm going to always present that to you. and then vice versa. To that way y'all can learn from the journey I've had, because I had a wild journey. And professionally I needed a whole lot of support. And so the fact that you are where you are currently shows that you've had a lot of people supporting you in your development. So now it's our duty to then turn back to any folks that we can, whether they be older or younger than you, and make sure that we're giving that same support to them, that same level of detail. Whether they see that they're a leader or not is up to us to tell them where they lead and how they lead and what they can and can't be, and not necessarily can't be, because can't be is not an option. Let's let them know the opportunities and the resources to get to where it is they need to be.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like programs like Buffalo Futures, I don't know why I look up to think and then I catch myself doing it. I'm weird.
Maybe the thought is up there. It's all good.
You gotta find
it. Be right there. But programs like Buffalo Futures have to make sure that they express that they're not only advocates but allies outside of the household. Because, like, okay, yeah, everybody says it starts at home, but when you spend the majority of the time outside, it's like you have those outside influences, and if we could be what they need when they don't know that they need it, then it could be successful. That's how I feel like that's how you change lives, in a sense. Like, yes, you might not have a good at-home situation, or you do have a good at-home situation and they need help, because it does take a village. So it's like making sure that it's known, like, all right, we want to work with parents and work with the kid. But if that isn't your situation specifically, if they aren't present, all right, now we can move forward and make sure we're just focused on you. But I was just like, I talked to you about the backpack giveaway we did at the beginning of September, and it was more so eye-opening and enlightening, because it was 25 different vendors under the age of 25. We all gave, I want to say collectively, we probably gave over 400 book bags that day. And my point of bringing that up is, I want to do something for the parents, but I don't know what. Because okay, we do what you see a lot of givebacks for kids or for families in a sense, but like, we need to do more stuff for moms, because it's a lot of great moms out there that's trying. It's a lot of the opposite too, but it's a lot of great moms out there. It's a lot of great dads. Like,
okay, I was about to say,
I got a great dad. No,
because
I got
a
great dad.
All right, now. You better stand up for us.
I will, because everybody has different experiences, but like even mentioning, my dad went away at that same pivotal stretch that I'm talking about, from 13 to 17. So went through puberty by myself out here. Went to high school. Somehow managed to get myself into a private Catholic school. Didn't have a bill there. Everybody's not gonna be that significant.
Yeah.
I mean, that it's different.
Yeah,
it's different. It's different. It just I was blessed. Yeah, I put the work in. Yeah, I'll give myself some credit, but if I didn't have some type of higher being with me, or if I didn't believe in myself, I wouldn't be here. Because we go back to the dads. It's great. We'll get back to how we need to do something for the parents, but my dad going away, I saw him 3 times in a 4-year span. Wow. So it's like, now we're just on a boat. Like, that's my guy. Like, we on a boat in a different country. I turned 22. I graduated on the 13th of May. Mother's Day was the 14th. We celebrated with the women. And then my birthday was the 15th. And we went to, where did we go? I'm drawing a blank right now. We went
somewhere good.
Yeah. Somewhere out of town.
But it's funny, because that was the first time I'd ever been out of town, period, with my dad in 22 years. So it was like, we did a lot of reflecting, and it's like, that's my go-to for everything, no matter what. Like, he's still parenting me, and everybody don't have it that good. My mom is still parenting me, not just worrying about me, but parenting me. Like, I get the guidance and the tutelage that I can from them in the aspects that they can give, at least. You know, but we need to do something for parents. Not just acknowledge them, but like, we we got to do something. We got to put something together. I don't know. I've been thinking like a breakfast. I don't know.
No, yeah, that's
We
really
gotta do
good.
something. We gotta
Well,
be-
this is where y'all come in.
Right.
This whole youth council.
We got
it
initiatives
happen.
to write then.
But as we talking about parents, just know I am. You know what I'm saying? I got me a
and
little.
I saw how you interact with your son today. You invited me to your house.
Oh yeah.
Invited me.
Jamal came to my house. He came to my house. See, here's the thing about that. I think it's important for my son to come along and see me operating with my youth, to see me operate in different spaces. And we all have the opportunity to break generational curses.
Absolutely.
We have the opportunity to set a new standard for ourselves and
Yeah.
what happiness looks like, what success looks like, because it doesn't always look like what people think it should.
Absolutely.
And so I feel like this is a good opportunity. This is a good opportunity for you all to say what you want. And I encourage anybody out there, which camera am I at? One of the, okay. I encourage everybody out there to make sure that you tell people about buffalofutures.com because we're here for your youth.
Yeah.
There's ways for them to be supported in childcare, transportation, first and last, and security deposits. We've purchased beds for youth. It's awfully hard.
shoes.
It's awfully hard to think about a job when you aren't sure what you're going to be eating that night or sleeping that night. And so I remember what that felt like for me, and I make sure that youth I reach out to within 24 to 48 hours at the least, at the maximum, because we want to make sure that they get what it is that they need.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so you all are advocates of that, and you sit in places to where a lot of youth wouldn't sit. You know what I mean? And so as much wisdom as you're pouring out, just keep in mind, there's other folks that you can pull in.
Absolutely.
And just like you said with the parents are just as important as the youth.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be the parents and the trusted advisors, the teachers, those kind of folks that's going to tell the youth, like, hey, this is a site you should go on. Takes like 8 minutes to do a skills and interest quiz.
Maybe less.
And then maybe even less. And then boom, they connect you with over 350 jobs on our website. Multiple trainings if you need it. And we cover the cost of those trainings. So this is where you all come in. Like, make it happen. Y'all do y'all thing, and we're just here to support
As soon as y'all told me about the program, I started sending it to the guys. Like, it's different because yes, I do. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, I do so much, but like I try my best to not be disconnected. Mm-hmm. So like my friends that I grew up with are still my friends.
Yeah, awesome.
Like my friends from 3rd grade, I'm caught. So everybody didn't go to college. Point being, as soon as we found out that this Buffalo Futures was gonna be a thing, and you start sending me the links, that's why I asked you to send me the PowerPoint.
Yeah.
Cause I'm so assertive. I'm making y'all pull up so we could have this session. I'm serious.
That's good.
It's not
That's good.
It's not Forex in the sense of I'm not trying to get nothing out of you. I'm trying to pour into you, like, and it's not. I'm not always in settings where people have the ability to pour in me,
pour into you. Yep.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah. So I made sure I spread the word. I made sure I let people know what's going on, and I feel like a few of my guys have appointments coming up that I told to sign up for career paths. Just so it's if you guys are gonna offer an experience to where people can live more intentionally, why not take advantage? We getting old, like we young, but I'm saying you too old to be in your mom's house.
Uh-oh.
Respectfully.
Uh-oh. Wait, so if you getting old, I must be ancient then. You better watch. You better watch what you say.
Everybody has different paths, and I do respect life in the sense of I don't want to sound arrogant when I say what I'm saying, but I'm saying you're a young man, you're a man, you carry yourself a certain way, you do certain things, you live by certain principles and codes, then live that holistically. Don't just do it sometimes. Get you a job, bro.
Yeah, he said, "Get you a job, bro."
Seriously.
Definitely. There's, I mean,
you know,
and there's some out here. That's the thing.
And there's opportunities.
A career. That's what
opportunities.
16 to 24. We're in that age gap. Get like they're.
And not just a job.
They leading you to the water.
He said, "Get you a
and telling you to drink." Yeah.
I got a question
helping you
for
drink
y'all.
the water company with our hands.
I got a question. I know this your show, Lee. I got one question though. As we're thinking about this now, so you know my whole job as senior director is to make sure you all have what you need funding, make sure the program is still there, funding and all that kind of stuff. Make sure the appropriate jobs are out there that's going to pay you a wage that you can actually sustain your family. But we have a host of donors, people that gave from Bank of America to Amazon to private donors.
Thank y'all.
So if you had to say to these donors or even to us some way that we can offer better support or the best support to youth, what would that look like?
For the donors to offer more support?
For the donors as well as those of us that are here to support you all.
I would say just being more attentive. You know what I mean? Like, actually, like, as, like, our jobs is to make sure we're talking to them right now, no more than a 24 to 48 hour, right? But these are donors, and we're so grateful, but we don't know you. You never came and spoke with us or spoke with the youth, and it's like, we're so grateful, but I want the youth to see your face. Like, let them thank you in person. Let them know that you are the one that helped funded this program. And because we're so grateful, but we don't know you. And so we can go out. It's like, oh, yeah, we're going to speak and go table. And you can see one of the biggest funders. And you're just like, oh, well, that's someone who funded this whole organization. But I want you to know that. Like, I want the funders to know the youth in a sense. You know what I mean? Don't just stand away and think, oh, we gave them this. Like, even though we're grateful, I don't want to say, like, we're not at all. But I want them to be more, like, with us.
Connected.
Yeah.
Them. Let this be known. This is you all's platform. I can always reach out. We could pull some of them in, and then you could grill us right in front of our face. You know what I'm saying? Jamal, what about you?
As a communication guy, I'm going to always go back to, I feel like simple interpersonal communication like this is always the way to go, because we're not only being informative and entertaining, but we're actually getting the message across. So the question is, what would I tell a donor? We need more Buffalo Futures, because by time we need 6. I'm saying in the sense of still being like saying something that's actually plausible, right? We need programs. We need programs to have kids be able to talk to each other instead of scream, instead of argue. Like, to know, like, okay, I can be positive. I know out there is bad, but like when I was growing up, I was always in Boys and Girls Club, but then football started, and then that's where I grew a sense of camaraderie and toughness and all of that. But still going back to not sports, so I'm not saying donors, we need more Little League teams, which we might, but I'm saying we need to be able to have these conversations.
Yeah, I'm thinking now that you said that, like, not only jobs that they are providing, but like also different sessions where, you can go to this mental health thing, as we have like at Buffalo Future, but more of those, like, because we're coming, disconnected youth. They come from all different types of backgrounds. It's not just a job, but like holistically, you know what I mean? We need the whole person to be different by the time they walk out the door. We need a whole different person.
Look in the camera and tell them what you need. Which camera? Point us out. Leah, you look right in there and tell them what to. Go ahead.
We need sessions toward and tailored towards the youth. That's what we need, okay? We need people that are talking to us about, like, what we're going through. And it's not just, we talking to each other here, but even with the youth, like, the youth need to hear more youth, but in, like, smaller places or even big places, different initiatives and different outreach. But we want to hear y'all, see y'all at the places. Don't just be like, oh, well, I'm going to give them this money and let them do what they want to do. We want to thank you in person. Let's take a group picture, a group hug. Let's have something together. Like, we are helping disconnected youth be connected. We have to be connected then. We can't just be like, led or like just, far away. Like, no, we want the sessions, help with mental health, help with positivity. Also on jobs and pathways on the site, also have different sessions where, we can go to this, and that. And this is what I'm actually going through right now. You know what I mean? You help youth with different, if it's been molestation or rape or anything like that, like, help us with everything that we're going through. Like, you need to actually talk to the person. Yeah. That's my little rant.
She said that, didn't she?
Yeah, my bad.
Now, I think one thing you forgot to mention is your co-host here, who's going to be your co-host starting after this podcast.
Oh yeah. Well, no, I
What
said
about
that
me?
at the beginning.
You said that at the beginning?
Yeah.
All right, I'm just trying to make sure.
Oh yeah. But what do you think,
you ain't gonna
co-host?
see me on here no more. It's for y'all.
So I've been working my job for about 7 months now. At the end of this month, and what I'm noticing and recognizing most about philanthropy is not to shut your point down, but it's like they don't always want to be seen because,
Yep.
respectfully, you have people. Yeah, two different sets of people, right? Some people that give for one reason, and there's people that give for another reason, and I'm gonna let that be there, and I'm not gonna get too technical into that, but you know what I'm talking about, right? So, okay, the people that are giving for one specific reason, they might not always want to be seen or heard, and they might want to be somebody that's like in the cut or like a silent funder, a silent donor, but they have a specific intention or initiative, right? So why I even mention the job is I go and see people, I go and see millionaires, 100,000aires, or the common person like you and I, right? And I'm getting their background story, so it's not always just about money. And I just see the reasons for why certain people give. Like you have people that might have an emotional attachment to our urban areas, and that's why they give. So you have what were the
Bank of America,
Amazon, Bank of America,
Amazon, Bank of
Community
America,
Foundation.
and
Community Foundation.
So like, what I would say to them is, reach into your heart. If you're doing it for the right reasons, if you want to see youth prevail, if you want to see us actually make Buffalo Futures times 10, and actually, I'm saying actually a lot. If you want to do this thing,
You want to do
Then
it?
dig a little more is what you
Yeah.
said.
Yeah,
Do it then.
We need people to give out of the kindness of their heart and for the right reasons.
That's real.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Do y'all think, so where do y'all see yourselves in 5 to 10 years? Do you think it's still going to be here or not necessarily here, but with like the same mission? Helping the youth, or do you think it might go to a different group? It might go to, what do y'all think?
Why you don't want to get your 10 years?
Answer this question.
Anyway.
Oh, wait, I forgot.
So, me personally, like I was saying a little bit ago, I just, not in a rut, but I'm just in a very sensitive time to where I know it's important for me to brand and expand. So, like, I don't have an LLC. I need that. I don't have certain things that I need for me to be, respectfully, as smart as I am. Like, I know what I am. I know what I could be doing. I know what I should be doing. So, it's like, you say 10 years, but, like, I'm trying to get my next 10 tomorrows situated because it's
That's so real.
It's so, like, I have a lot of people that are depending on me in different facets. From my sisters watching me be a young man in front of them and do certain things a certain way, like I'm laying a pathway for them. And then you have professional people that I'm probably not responding to their emails right now. So it's like, it's so many people. It's so much. And it's not even necessarily pressure, but it's like 10 years. I just want to I want to leave a legacy. I want to have some impact. We don't know even how long we're going to live. And that's a deeper story for a different time. But like, I say that a lot because it's like, you have certain people that are only so influential for this long. And it felt like they lived so long because they had such a great impact.
Yeah.
Tupac was what? 26, 25?
Yeah.
I mean,
and we still talk about, I ain't never seen Tupac in my life.
That's just one specific case, but I'm like, I don't know if you know who Medgar Evers is?
Mm-mm.
So he was a part of the NAACP movement, and I'm not gonna go on a super rant, but he was gunned down in his driveway when he was coming home from, I want to say, a some type of meeting, either a church meeting or something, some type of meeting. And why I bring him up is I want to say he died at 33. And not enough people know about those type of stories, but we know about the impactful stories that we know about. So that's why I do think about life or death in the sense of, like, yeah, I'm young and I'm somewhat successful to somebody, but, like, 10 years, I got to be able to look back and say that one podcast,
Changed lives.
that one podcast, this
Mhm.
one that they saw, like, that we were just our simple selves in our common states.
Like, you want to be impactful.
You gonna be a big deal. Like, you got 74,000 followers on TikTok.
Yes.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah?
You're amazing.
Oh, please.
Talk about yourself.
No, I'm saying, you're saying, though, that you want to be, like, impactful on every step.
So what about
of
you
your
in
walk.
10 years?
Uh-oh.
Yourself.
Well, okay, so I'm going to school right now for respiratory therapy. So in 2 years, 2026, I'll graduate as a respiratory therapist. But I want to write a books, actually, you know what I mean? So, yeah, I just want to be gone here, like have a house here, house everywhere else. So, and I think that's possible in 10 years. I'm on the go. Like, there's a drive, and I'm hungry for it. So,
I like that, though.
yeah, it's like we need to be.
So, a question for the room. What does success look like to you?
Oh, success look like something different to everybody. I think that's the whole purpose of Buffalo Futures. It look different. Some folks don't want to have a big house. They rather have a small house. For me, success looked like me giving back and being at the table, not for show, but being at the table, actually leading some things at the table. And I'm able to do that, bringing youth like yourself, give you opportunities as well as hire staff that maybe didn't have the opportunity before. That's successful to me. The major success is raising my child to be a person with integrity. You know what I'm saying? And I see that already. He's 4, he'll be 5 in 2 weeks or so.
Oh my gosh.
But he's an honest kid. Like, I'm always like, tell me the truth. That's important to me. That's important that he takes education seriously, himself seriously. It's important to me that he gets involved in the arts and different stuff like that. And that will be success. That's success. That's success.
I think, like, I would consider myself successful now because even though when I get to, like, oh, I can have a house here, but it's purposeful, right? It's because I want to go and travel and see different people because, like, I have friends everywhere. And so I want to be able to just go and see you. And I don't just have to, book all this, book. No.
Like, Airbnb
but
not good enough.
yeah,
For you in the crib,
exactly.
No, that's right.
And I feel you, Jarrell, like, giving back, right? Because I always, like, that's what connected me to Buffalo Futures. Like, I don't have the background, right, where I came from homelessness or anything, but I have the background where I was Buffalo Futures. Like, I was the one housing my friends. They didn't have a house. They didn't have food. They didn't have transportation. And, like, with the car I had, and I didn't ask them for gas. I didn't ask for nothing. It was just because I knew that you needed it. And I had it out of the little job that I had, right? But I'm like, I got to be that person because you don't have it. And so that's success to me. Like, being able to be a person even when you don't have it and you're still giving back.
That's also, whether you all know it, that's a resume. Like, it may not be something you write on paper when you hand it to an employer, but people know you in this town. Buffalo's not that large. People know you. People will talk about you. And that's the reason I pulled you in, is because I see that you're willing to give. And so if we have an opportunity for you to do that, of course, you know what I'm saying? And so you never know who's watching. You never know who's watching. And that, like, I saw you at the book bag giveaway, and I'm like, I don't know who this dude is, but we got to figure something out because I seen the level of influence you have. Yeah. And so the Buffalo Fashion Week was phenomenal. Khalil did a wonderful job. Iman did a wonderful job, all of you. And so we're trying to figure out, okay, how do we get Buffalo Futures to support that? Right. How do we get folks to sign up with accounts so we can let them know, like,
I
hey,
should have knew about that. Like, why didn't I hear about it?
Well, now we know.
Yeah. Is it like a yearly thing, annual?
So I guess Buffalo Futures was on a 10-year hiatus before they brought it back. I don't want to give false information, so that's just what I've heard. I don't know that for sure, but that's
the Fashion Week?
Buffalo Fashion Week was on hiatus for 10 years, and I'm not sure exactly who approached Khalil about being the executive director of it, but they made it happen, and it was a 30-day project, and it was amazing. It was amazing. Like, And I'm not gonna give away their sauce, but they were able to do it for much less than the eye might see. And being close to him, I would say right now, like with me like stepping away from my show for a little second to rebrand, he's probably the most important person that I'm next to right now. Because he's even bigger than the movie and Buffalo Fashion Week, but he's in school for marketing and production. So he just know a lot. And even with him being a year younger than me, I'm just looking at dude like, man.
Right, and I love that, like having that people
more.
around
Like,
you.
The things that he tries to put me into, things that you've tried to put me into, how much stuff I have to turn down because I'm away. Like I live 90 miles away, so it eats at me because I could be doing so much more. But time.
But look at you. You drove what, 2 hours?
Right.
Yeah, but that's me showing up for my people. Like,
That's
we ain't
success.
do
You
that
know
right
that,
now.
right?
We ain't do that right now. But
Oh, he said I threw something last minute, which I didn't. He ain't check his email, but
no, I wasn't even saying that in that aspect. I'm saying in the instance of like even pulling me in, like why?
Oh yeah,
why
of
me?
course.
So I think about stuff like that. Yeah, I could be successful on my own, but if somebody, long story short, I have enough integrity to recognize what's going on in real life. Like, I'm not blinded by today. Like, today means nothing. Respectfully, like, yes, I'm grateful, but you trying to stack up wins for us.
But
So why wouldn't I?
ask yourself why. See, here's the thing. I'm not the kind of person to capitalize on the wit of someone and then not acknowledge. It's not that I just want to give to you and that's it. I see you're ready for it and you actually want more for yourself.
Right.
So if anything, why not you all? Like, people can see from across the room, like, okay, that's a leader. I don't know what he's leading, but he's standing there like he got some authority. That's why when I always talk to my youth, I tell them, like, show up like you got something to do. Show up like you there on the scene, like you're supposed to be there. And I did the same thing. And before you knew it, people would pull me to the table. Like, Jarrell, what do you think? Why don't you answer this?
To have that confidence is hard.
It is.
Everybody can't walk in the room and be Leah.
That's true. That
I
what?
personally won't say nothing to nobody. And that's my personality. That's not something I necessarily promote. But I get social when I gotta be. I'm not trying to. I walked up on him another time. But
I walked up on him and made him talk to me because, like I said, people could tell leadership, and people could tell.
And silent leadership too, because that's what he possesses. It's not like the bold type, but you could tell, like, once you get to talking to him, it's like, oh no, you got it.
And it's like, I don't want people to get me wrong. I've been the captains on all my teams that I've ever been on. I was the class president. I know how to do that, but in this stage, it's time to listen. That's how I feel.
That's real though.
Like,
that's a good acknowledgement.
Right now, that's why I keep saying it's just a sensitive time for me and why I gotta step back, because I'm just doing a lot, and it's not. If it don't have a purpose, not that it doesn't have a purpose. Not like I'm just living unintentionally, but like if I'm doing 3 interviews a week, what am I doing? For like what am I like what am I? That's not enough for me.
No.
No.
You need a set plan.
I gotta
Well, come see us.
I have no schedule. I could be further. Is my point.
Man, don't be too hard on yourselves. 22 and you're aware. It's funny, when I was your age, I felt like I'm not doing enough. Don't burn yourself out. There's a whole sea of people that need you. They need to see you. They need to see you doing your podcast. They need to see you going to work and coming back.
I'm cool with burning out for the right reasons and the right people. That matters. And that's a different conversation. So you saying you just
want to be...
But we ain't going to let you burn out.
You just saying you want to be more impactful with what you're doing. Like you saying the 3 interviews, you don't feel like you're as impactful as you need to be. Or like you spending your time and it's good, but you just want to do it like with...
If nobody sees it, if nobody sees it, then it's kind of like, it's a lot of ins and outs that goes into quality. And I'm not giving the people executing on what my promise is to myself with the talent that I have. I could be doing everything, but I'm just interviewing right now. I could be doing everything. So on the backside, on the back end of the rebrand, it's gonna be different.
Then that's
I'm
good.
excited. It's
Well,
gonna
look
be
at you. You
different. It's gonna be
acknowledged it, and that you just got to
Yeah, it's
run with it
gonna
and
be
go.
I like this. Y'all back and forth talking about what you want, and keep in mind that's why we here. That's why you got hired.
Yeah.
Make sure you get your dream actually met.
That's it.
It's not a cookie cutter way of working with youth. It's
Right.
depending on what you all need. So we're here.
Thank you so much for joining in. It was really a great conversation. I love that we had you two on for our first official episode. I want y'all to follow us. Buffalo Futures is the handle for every single social media. And we just thank y'all for coming in. Next episode, we beginning with the Love Month. Y'all, it is February and Black History Month all at the same time. And I just can't wait to see you there. Bye.